Hey everyone, and welcome to the Movement Theories podcast. This is the theatre podcast that discusses everything in the performing arts space. Today we are on our third episode of this new season, which is the Drama School series season, and we're talking about Brit School. We'll be talking about different courses, such as the Applied Theatre courses. What are they? Why do they exist? Do they help? And we'll be talking about student-led theatre companies. Today we are joined by Abby, who is at the Central, who went to Brit School, who had done Applied Theatre course, is currently doing one, and has a student-led theatre company. So all of that is to come in this episode. I like to ask this question a lot. Who inspires you?
In the least, cringe way, genuinely nature.
Okay, no, because I haven't heard that before yet.
Some of the stuff we've done on the course, we did, Jack Lecoq work with, elements and stuff.
Nice,
and,
that's theatre of comedy. Jack Lecoq, I swear that's, some sort of, I've looked at him very briefly. Is it comedy? What is it? Is it
we just did elements work.
Elements, right.
Yes.
Do you remember? Clown. I felt like it was some. Okay, I've got in my head theatre of the something. I need to look at it.
The Oppressed, Auguste Boal?
No, we didn't do that. Oh. Anyway, Jack Lecoq. Right. Yes. Sorry.
Because I don't know, I'm also doing a project at the moment that's ecologies and landscape and stuff, because becoming elements, but also for me, I feel most at peace in nature. So I feel my head's most clear and I can get most passionate when I'm sat in nature.
It's a shame you live in London.
Yeah, but I live near a fairly big hill.
Okay,
which is
big hill. Yeah.
Loads of traffic, but it's the best I can do.
Someone like Sidcup would be so much better than... Well, you're fairly central, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm nearer to Wembley.
Yeah, okay. So Sidcup is great because this feels like nature's all around me. And I've gone on so many lovely walks. I have actually, though. That's quite nice.
Flex.
Yeah, I know. And I have trees and fields and greenery. It's crazy. And you don't get that as much in Central. You get splodges of it.
Yeah. You get Regent's Park. But
yeah, I guess they're all right, aren't they? But I don't know, Sidcup feels very I come from Devon. Sidcup feels like Devon, weirdly. It just feels like the same vibe.
Really? I've only ever been here near London Bridge, so to me it feels really city, but I guess
really?
I don't live here.
No, this doesn't feel very city. As you walk around, you'd feel that more. So nature, why nature?
Again, I just feel most at peace in it. In the most that cringe me out to say, but I don't know, because the sea is my favourite place.
The sea. Okay. Are you from a seaside town?
Nope.
Take Abby to our seaside.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take you to our seaside town. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's so simultaneously one of the most beautiful things and terrifying. And I don't know. I love that.
So I worked on the beach, and let me tell you, the sea it's not very peaceful.
Yeah, exactly.
No. It's terrifying. I was on a beach activities team, and I was having to put all these boats anchors out, and I just had waves crashing into me. And I was like, maybe I don't like the sea that much. But the days where it's flat, actually, it's got balance.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing with the sea, is a balance. So does that inspire work? Does that inspire the way you approach yourself creatively?
I think it probably grounds me.
Grounds you.
My any of the work I've done in the past will be things that I've seen from my directors or other people, and then just being in nature kind of grounds it and it's okay, now this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And there's been a few times I've made normally physical theatre stuff, and especially since being at Central, a lot based on nature and things like that.
Yeah. Nice. I feel like I should just ask this, who are you, Abby? For people listening, who is Abby? Yeah.
Who am I? I'm Abby Dean. I went to the Brit School. I did Applied Theatre. I'm currently on the Drama Applied Theatre and Education course for Central.
Nice.
Whoop. And I'm the director of Chaps Theatre Company.
Very nice. Student ambassador person, I've heard, I swear.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm a student ambassadher for Central. And
That's
I'm
exciting.
a first year date rep.
Nice.
Which is our course. And so is Kaitlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. In case you can't tell, I like to get involved in things.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. Where do you think that comes from? Is that a particular...
I don't know. I just like to stay busy. Also, weirdly though, I procrastinate a lot. But I'll do something by choosing something else to do. So if I have a list of 10 things, I'll get 9 of them done and put one off a lot. But it means I'm doing 9 things, not one.
Yeah.
Which is an
smart.
odd mentality, but I like staying busy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird mentality. Do you list a lot? Are you like to write things down?
Yes, but I don't follow them. So I'll plan my day like
Right.
I think I've shown Kaitlin my notes app. I'll be like plan to the like every 5 minutes my day.
Ooh,
And then I'll do about like 10 of them and then I go like off piece. But at least like
You've
the
done-
night before I've planned what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It just won't be in that order.
But then you do get done quite a fair amount, just not the amount that you've written down.
Yeah, exactly.
I might start doing that because I always have this problem of like, oh, I want to get so much done today. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure. And I just think about the things I could do. But I don't write it down, get on my day and I reflect. And I was like, oh, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So maybe if I just like say like, I'm going to do this, and just hope I do this.
Yeah, and also breaking it down into small chunks. Like I know I'm gonna have a coffee every day without fail. So I put that on my to-do list because then if I'm having a day where I'm like, I feel like I've done nothing, it's like, no, you got up, you had a coffee.
Yeah.
You might not have done like a massive essay, but you did like a sentence. So like break it down because then I feel like I've appreciating that you've done something.
Yeah.
Because
Nice. Why the Brit School? So it's a sixth form, isn't it?
Sixth form and Key Stage 4, but
And
my
Key Stage 4.
course they don't do it Key Stage 4.
Yeah. So why the Brit School and why that course?
Well, Brit to me like stuck out because it's just like when you see the stuff, it's really cool. Like people know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And then I saw this course, and I remember on the open day they said it's the only course. I think it's UK. I don't want to be wrong, so it might just be England, but I think it's UK that does like this course at this level. Like it's the only place you can do it, and it like I remember choosing between doing musical theatre or at the time community arts practice, but applied theatre. And I was like really stuck and I was talking to my mum and I was like, I don't know which to pick. And then I was like, oh, well, I really like political stuff. And like my whole thing is I like making theatre that does something good. Like that's what drives me. And then I was like, okay, I'll apply to this, see what happens. Did like the interview and things. And when I got in and then literally within the first like month, I was like, yes, this was my calling.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't know what applied theatre really is. Like I do, but then I'm like, hold on, that doesn't. I don't understand it necessarily all the time, because I'll hear things like, you become a rock, you become some sort of like weird object, and then like it means something. The problem is I don't understand what it means. Do you? Is there anything you think you could share about like what is applied theatre? Why do people do it?
I think that's what's so cool about applied theatre. Like it is like everything.
Okay.
With like good intent. Like so the best way I like briefly will summarize it is like making theatre with a community group for a community group or by a community group. And so you'll learn things and then figure out how to then take that to either like better people or just like spread awareness about something. And it isn't, although you oftentimes in a lot of like applied theatre courses get training, like at Brit we did like some singing, we did dancing, we did acting, we did all kinds of like different theatre styles and like practitioners. But then we'll go out and like work with a group of people who have dementia, and we do like dementia training, and some of the workshops we do are like us doing dance because music is like a really good stimulant and things like that. So it's not always about like being on the West End at the front, but like it can be mainstream like performances that are more political. It's just such a like wide scope, which is why like it's so fun.
Okay. A lot of it seems like it's to help people in different ways. What are different ways that people need helping, and how can theatre help them in like different situations people might be in?
I think sometimes one thing that really stuck out to me, one of the first things that I was told at Central is previously I've been told like applied theatre works with people in like marginalised group, but one thing one of our tutors said is like questioning like what does calling someone a marginalised group mean, and like is you inflicting that like name on them, like having a certain like message across, and that stood out to me. So like applied theatre can help people in a way of giving them a break from like I worked with an incredible group of people, as one of my final projects, of adults in recovery from drug and alcohol addiction.
Nice.
And we didn't sit there. I think a lot of people think we sit there and we're like, tell us your trauma and we're going to make a dance about it. Which like it can be, but it's also not. Like I spoke to one of them at the end of the project and they were like, coming here like every Thursday is just like being able to play and like have fun and like have a break and
Yeah.
like feel normal. Same with like I know one of our tutors went to like Gambia and worked with a group of young girls, and it wasn't about, okay, you're a young girl, what do you face? It was just having fun and like playing. So sometimes it is a bit like drama therapy and can like give that space for people to like bring up things they're struggling with or things in their life that they find difficult, but also sometimes it's just having fun and just normalizing. Like that's what I love about applied theatre. It doesn't romanticize or stigmatize, it just normalizes things, which is very cool.
I want to hear more about Brit School.
Mm-hmm.
Like what exciting things have you done with them that make like that maybe other schools that like you could go to don't offer?
I mean, I think one thing I love about the applied theatre course is like when I first started, my director of like the course said that the experience you get in 2 years is like the same as like 4 years working freshly, and I was like, oh yeah, sure. And like it was like there were so many projects running at the same time. Like we performed with the company Chicken Shed at the British Summertime Festival in Hyde Park.
Nice.
Which was great. And awesome high-waisted orange trousers.
Love that.
It was so great. And we worked with loads of different professional companies. So like DePaul came in and made like a short film. So a few of my class got to do like screen acting and things.
Nice.
And yeah, then we did all of our outreach stuff. So I went to the Isle of Wight for a week on a placement and worked with people in end-of-life care at a hospice called Mountbatten, which was like incredible. But then like the term before, I did a comedy of errors set in the 90s, and it was a musical. So it's like the most eclectic mix of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's never a time I did something that I was like, oh, I'm like I was never not busy. There was always like a lot going on at once, and also opportunities like external to that. Like there was a company called Talk Show, and they had a small show called Telethon that me and my friends through Brit like got an opportunity to work in at the end. Yeah. That was a very odd experience, but it was so like good.
And Brit offer you all these things.
Yeah, I mean their like connections are really great, and they have like a bulletin that comes out, and also the careers department at Brit are like incredible, and they like have really cool work experience things that people do, which is really sick. And the Brit name does help like when you go and like apply for things and you're like, oh, I trained at Brit, but also the experience I don't think I could have got anywhere else, like just with the different companies and the amount we did in 2 years. Like we were absolutely like not quite burnt out, but very tired at the end of each term.
I'm sure.
But
I'm finding that here, to be honest. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You mentioned about people saying, or like the Brit name being one that people be like, oh, I went to Brit and that it means something. What do you think about like attitudes from people there? Do you think that people can be like the Brit School? Like I'm at the Brit School, or like do you think people talk about the Brit School as if it's like a? And what do you think about that? I had an audition once, and I think there were like 4 girls there, all with like their Brit hoodies, like all representing. They were like, we're from the Brit, and they were good. Don't get me wrong, like it showed. But what do you think about maybe like people's attitudes from Brit and towards Brit?
I mean, I think one thing that really shocked me is when I tell people that I went to Brit, they think it's this like really prestigious, like everyone's like, walking around like it's in Croydon. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Like it's in Selhurst, and it's very like it's so the opposite of that, which is what I love. Okay. Like all the bins have like graffiti like spray painted and stuff, and like the pianos around school. And there's one at like Selhurst Station that has like really cool like mural on it. It's so not like stuck up, but I get very aware. Like when I started at Central, when I did all my drama school auditions, I like withheld that I went to Brit because I didn't want people like Kaitlin knows this. I didn't want people being like, oh yeah, I went to Brit because it just
you hear that a lot. I find it personally. I hear a lot of people saying that, which is not a problem. Like it's good to represent.
I'm really happy I went there, but I don't want it to seem like that's my personality. Like Brit, one thing I love about Brit is they really make you like your own artist, your own like practitioner. Whereas I know other places can make like carbon copies, but then I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I went to Brit and seem like I'm flexing, because I do feel very privileged I got to go there because it's incredible.
Yeah, because it kind of gives me like, I know it's not, but it kind of gives me like exclusive private school kind of like.
Oh, it's so the opposite of that.
Yeah, that's so surprising to me. I really thought it was.
Yeah, no, it's very the opposite of that. The theatre course do a protest day.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not what the unit's called, but they do like political theatre.
Yeah.
And one day a year, it's in year 12, there are different protests going on around school. So one year, when my friends were doing it, someone laid in their boxes across a barbecue and people threw like sauce at them to protest like mass like meat production and stuff. Like
Fun.
There are like flash mobs going on. Like I remember when I first started, like the whole joke about like Hollywood Arts or Fame, like I'd get there at like 8 a.m. and someone's like singing in the canteen really well, beautifully, go MT or whatever strand, but I like it's a lot all the time, but it's so not like
okay.
not like
That's
which
really
is
good to
which
know.
is what I like, because I think I was really quite intimidated when I started, because I was out of catchment. Like I commuted far to go there, and yeah, it was not like that at all, which is what I liked.
That's good to hear. Yeah. For people maybe who are younger, maybe listening to this, who are interested in going to the Brit, what's like the process of getting in? Is it an audition?
Well, it depends like what strand.
Yeah.
But there's all like specification on the website about what you do. The interview's kind of the best bit because you get to talk to your like hopefully future teachers. And yeah, it is really like just a nice chat. And again, when you go to the open days and you walk around, like, yeah, it's such a nice vibe. Like there was no point I felt intimidated, or like some places I've gone where you can feel there's that level of like, we're already in. Like, no, just everyone's so happy to talk about it because it's just got this like infectious energy. It's so nice.
Did you feel like you were prepared well to then audition for kind of drama school afterwards?
Yeah. We did a whole like unit like on audition technique on one of our final things that we did, which massively helped.
I'm sure, yeah.
That was like some people doing songs, people doing monologue, also just like they'd ask like questions and things. Like they even ran a unit on my course called Arts Admin, where you get taught how to do like arts funding applications and all of that, which just made it so much easier going in and like knowing all this stuff. Like I'm very happy to be at drama school and to be at Central, but what they equip you with, you're ready to go be a working professional, and a lot of people just go and do that and are successful in what they do, what they're passionate about.
Nice. I heard you went to the Brit Awards.
I did.
With Brits.
With Brit,
Was that your last year there?
Yeah, so they do it in year 13, and then sometimes if there's spare spaces, a few of my friends went in year 12 as well.
Nice, yeah. What's that like? Where's the Brit Awards like?
Very cool. My strand were lucky enough to do the like red carpet bit as well. So that was meeting a lot of people, seeing a lot of people interviewed. It was a very tiring day.
Yeah,
I regretted wearing knee-high heels from early in the morning till like 10:30 at night. But the show was great. Basically, when you watch the Brit Awards and you see the celebrities and you see the pit, they're Brit students. So we're like in the pit watching the show. So like Harry Styles was like there. Like I saw like Jessie J in the bathroom, and it's a bit like, whoa, what is this? But then Brit do kind of like equip you with like one thing we were told. One of our first like intro talks were like, if you're gonna make like vlogs about like being at Brit, like that's embarrassing, don't do it. And like one thing I really respect them for is one of our first speeches our head teacher gave us was like, well done, you got into Brit, but you have nothing to be proud of yet.
Okay.
Which is true. It's a good mantra because a lot of people get in and be like, think like what we were saying earlier, like, oh, I think they're above someone, but no, you haven't. The only reason you're proud to be here is because the alumni before you have like worked so hard to like do well, and to then say they came here. So it humbles you, which is really good. But yeah, the Brit Awards was kind of like a nice like goodbye to like leaving Brit. It just felt like this is so cool. But yeah, that kind of shock factor, all the celebrities, like, because sometimes like Mo Gilligan or like a few people would come round school and you wouldn't really be aware until like they're there to either do like alumni workshops or anything. You get very much trained in like, don't like overreact if you see a celebrity, because like if you want to be a professional, you can't act like that
Yeah,
if
you
you're
gotta
working
stay,
on set
like,
with
cool.
someone. So yeah, it was more just like a nice night with like all of us being like, oh, we're coming to the end of our time here, like it's a fun night out.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I like that point about like acting kind of not necessarily chill, but just being like respectful, like when someone kind of famous is around. I find at the like the whole thing with going to stage door and like trying to like take loads of selfies. Like, I don't think I've taken a selfie in my life with a famous person that I've met, or like
Yeah.
all gone to like stage. I'll go to stage door, but I'll just be like hi and let my friends do. And I don't know why, but I just don't know. It just doesn't feel like, in my mind, it's like if I want a photo of them, I'll get it when I'm working with them.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like
Potentially.
dehumanizing in terms of like, obviously they're like, say it's like an actor in like a show or
Mm.
something, they're playing a character, that's great, and like same with how you'd like take selfie with your friends, but the whole kind of like treating them like they're not human, or like
Yeah.
they have to respond to your Instagram comment because they're superior. Like, no, that's just their job. Like, they're just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
working professional, no different to like if you had a friend who's a lawyer. It's just they might dance, whereas a lawyer might not in their job. But
Yeah,
do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Cool. You then went to Central.
Yes.
Why Central? What was it that went, I want to go there? Apart from the incredible prestige that it has and the fact that everyone talks about it like the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama is like this exciting thing, you know?
Yeah.
What about it like stood out, Sean?
Well, I know that my course at Brit, I believe, was like loosely, it's one of the like younger courses. It celebrates its 10th year. It's loosely based on the Drama Applied Theatre and Education course.
Yeah,
So
I've heard prior that the course at Central was like the first of its type, and then all of the other courses that currently exist around applied theatre, I think,
Yeah.
like came from that course.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. If,
yeah, and
the
it's
Brit
like
one was.
loosely based on it. I was looking at a few different drama schools, and then Central. The one thing that put me off Central was being in London. I was really nervous to like
I see.
live in
Yeah.
London, and then my audition day was actually felt like it was out of sitcom because my train was delayed because a woman was giving birth on it,
Wow.
and I'm very like a time anxious person. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be somewhere like an hour early, and I was like so stressed. It was like pouring with rain. I was
Yeah.
like stumbled in and was like, ah. But yeah, just reading everything on the day, like it just felt nice. And then when it came to make a decision, I kind of like weighed out the pros and cons, and in terms of connections and things, and like though being in London was quite scary to me at the time, also it meant working professionally, you're more likely to get obviously like opportunities and things.
And meet more people.
Yeah, like networking wise. So I kind of did it on like a, hope I didn't make the wrong decision, and like within the first 2 days before freshers, I was already like, I already love the people here,
Nice.
let
That's
alone the
good.
course, and then
Yeah.
start the course, and I love it.
How is living in London?
Good. I have 2 wonderful flatmates. Well, a flatmate and a half.
Flatmate and a half.
And a flatmate and another one spiritually. Shout out Lottie. And yeah, it's really great. Also just how quickly you can get around. Like we'll
Yeah.
wait for a tube and people are like, oh, it's 8 minutes. And I'm like, I would wait like at Clapham Junction every morning going to college for like 40 minutes. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice. And seeing people because I was out of catchment when I was at Brit, a lot of my friends all lived in London because the acceptance rate for out of catchment's really small.
Out of catchment.
So like
Where you don't live.
like within a certain area. So yeah, so it meant though that most people there like lived in London. So weirdly, coming to Central, I'm able to see my college friends like a lot more,
That's
which
nice.
is really nice. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you meet anyone special at Brit?
I did.
Did you? Who did you meet?
I met Romeo. I met some of my best friends. I
Yeah.
also met my boyfriend.
Oh, who's your boyfriend?
Also your boyfriend.
Kind of, yeah, half boyfriend. Got to share.
I met Ash. Weirdly though, he messaged me I saw his on Snapchat as I was writing my like thank you cards to my teachers on my last day of Strand. So we weren't like together necessarily at Brit. Like he only messaged me, thanks Ash, convenient timing, as we were leaving.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't. For me, it was mainly just like friends and like He was on theatre, and a lot of my friends, and my really like close friends I met on my course, Sofia and Ethan, who are all doing incredible things. But a lot of my friends are on like theatre or MT or film, because I did English. So your strand is 3 A levels, and then you can apply to do a 4th A level in either English, maths, history, or an AS in biology. And I was very lucky that my English class were like, even the teachers were like, we don't know how we got it so right with our class. We just got on so well. So I've got some friends in music. I met some of my closest friends like Romeo and Annie and Kezia, all of them in English, and they're all doing like really cool things. And that was a good way of like mixing strands, because I was worried it would be like quite cliquey and in your box, but that was probably one of the best ways to like see people around school. And by the time I was in my last year, I'd walk in and see my friend like the Mumba, and I'd be like, oh, and he's like, oh, I've just done jazz class, and I'm like, oh, that's sick, I'm doing this. And it's just like a really nice way to like connect. But yes, Ash was in theatre. He walked past me a few times and I said hello and he ignored me.
He seems like that type of person. He just like, I don't know what to say.
Being called out. We actually met at Romeo. We actually met the day before the Brit Awards. So it was my friend Romeo's 18th, and I had to leave early because we had to like get ready for the Brit Awards the next morning. And then she didn't really speak for like a month until he messaged me.
Out of the blue. And
damn. I did get to the point, he messaged, it got 20 minutes in the conversation, and I was like, in the least rude way, why you like, do you want something, like in terms of, I'd just gone to see his like final show. I thought he was gonna say like, did you get pictures or anything, like, because we didn't message.
Did you actually say that, like, straight up?
I said like, I really,
straight up. This wasn't just in your head.
No, I was like,
oh, wow.
Because I didn't want small talk if he was like, oh, do you have a picture of me being a bird, like, do you know what I mean?
Enough.
Like, and then he was like, oh no, I thought you were cool, and I was like, oh, okay, sorry, my bad. But yeah,
damn,
it was cool.
I had a question, but you're talking about Ash and it's just throwing me off. Oh yeah, are you interested in like performance, and is that something you'd ever kind of consider going into? Because I feel like your courses are more, I always describe them as like training to like create and like direct and like produce. Obviously at Brit you didn't do one of the performance courses, but is that something that you think you'd ever go into? Yeah,
I mean I'd love to. Like at Brit, like it was predominantly practical, so we were like, the performance courses were theatre, music, applied theatre, and musical and MT theatre. Yes, probably. They were like, so, and then I was worried because Central, I was told, was really academic. It's been pretty practical so far. Okay. But I mean, I love performance. I love physical theatre.
Yeah.
I'm in Chaps. We've got a few things in the work, and one thing that was one of my final projects I did at Brit was on a physical theatre piece on men's mental health. And that's been something that I'm like, I would really like to develop, and things like more as the directed side. But then we've got a few things that I love performing. I just think it's so like freeing, and then but also creating something with someone, whether it's a community group, and seeing the joy of like them perform it is also one of the most like beautiful things to experience. When you kind of like give someone that gift of performing, because I love it. I saw Hairspray when I was 5, and I was like, I want to be, I just remember like from that point I was like, I don't care what I'm involved in, whether I'm pushing the Hairspray can on stage, whether I'm like selling programs, I love this. And then so I mean I love performing, but at the moment I'm doing some directing stuff, but performing I do enjoy.
So your directing stuff and like your creative stuff is with this kind of student-led theatre company that you've created called Chapter. Who are you doing Chapter Theatre with, and what are your roles in the company?
Nancy Edwards,
nice.
Who's currently on the writing course at Central, and she's our writer.
Makes sense.
And Lottie, who's also on my course at Central, and she's our half flatmate. And she's our stage manager, production manager, organised girly. I'm the director.
And you're director.
Yes.
Cool. In terms of like the actual like performance of the things that you do, like have you done anything yet, or are you like still in the process of making something?
In the process, our first show is being put on at the Hope Theatre.
Lovely.
24th and 25th March. So we've been just like rehearsing for that.
And is it you guys in it?
No, it's a one-woman show, so we did a casting call out,
Cool.
and we found like the most perfect person for this role.
Who?
Morgan Ferguson, shout out, also on our course at Central.
Nice.
She's incredible, and it's been really fun like working together. And we thought for our first project, having just one cast member is quite good in terms of just like organising everything. I've made Lottie's job quite hard because I've decided to direct the show to be quite technical with loads of projections.
Fun.
So we're also all doing, I've done quite a lot of like filming stuff that Ash got roped into doing as well to help us with. So yeah.
Nice. Why did you choose to make one? Was it just you were with each other one night and like, oh, this is a fun thing to do? Or is it like, have you always had that kind of like vision in your head, like this is something I want to do in the future?
Well, it's definitely something that I wanted to do. And then Nancy would read me some of the stuff she'd do for her writing classes.
Yeah.
And she read me this one, which is the script we're now using. And I was like, you've got to do something with this. I was like, I don't care what you do, just don't like put it away. And then she was doing stuff for her class. And then one night she asked me, she was like, would you like direct it? And I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. So I'm going to help her direct it. And then we were like, we'd already kind of joked about doing a theatre company. And then we were like, oh, well, this is kind of a perfect time to do it. Like, what? Like, why not? And then Lottie's our spiritual flatmate. And we were like, oh, we need a production manager. So Lottie kind of got in on that. So it kind of just came together, really.
And then what's the process of doing the whole kind of like production and producing of it? What's like the process of doing casting calls, getting people to do the parts? What's it like getting a gig booked down at the Hope Theatre? Like, 'cause that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we did our casting call out. Nancy kind of chose a bit of the script that she wanted to use, and we watched like a bunch of self-tapes. I designed a lovely poster for it. I got really into like the social media because I've figured out that I actually really love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Through this, yeah, it's just
brilliant.
so much fun. I love it. And then we found Morgan and we started rehearsing. We did a shoot day at mine where it was meant to be like an hour and we spent like the whole day. And one of my friends, Annie, who I met at Brit, who's now at the BBC, shout out to her,
Nice.
came over to help us with a bunch of stuff. And then we've like started rehearsing like last week. So Lottie's been taking loads of promo pictures for us and like keeping the like Instagram updated. And we filmed a trailer teaser that's in the works, the first teaser released. So yeah, it's been like everything. And then we just, because of that arts admin project I spoke about with Brit, like luckily I was quite equipped with like, right, we need to do this. And it was actually through one of the teachers on the theatre course at Brit. They always post like opportunities for alum and things. And I saw that the Hope Theatre was like doing an open call and we kind of applied to it and a few other different ones. And then they came back. Me and Nancy did like an interview for it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we got it. So
That's super exciting.
Pretty
So what's
cool.
this show about?
It's about a young girl, well, like 21, young woman who's in a counsellor's office, and it discusses the grief of the man who sexually assaulted her when she was 18. So it's this whole kind of like realization, like coming to terms, acceptance. It explores like grief, womanhood, like sexual assault, like but there are some bits that surprisingly after that description I gave that are quite funny. Like it's if you liked the Barbie film,
I did.
you're
did
gonna
like
like
the Barbie
this.
film.
You're gonna like
Yeah.
this then.
It did make me laugh. I don't know. I just thought it was like filmed and directed like really well. I don't know. I was watching it and I was like, this is good.
Shout
This is
out Greta.
yeah. Like-
I quoted you in this podcast.
Did I?
I said, that's why Greta go.
I starting Central that I non-stop said that I would like tie my shoelaces and I'd be like, that's why I got to go with the Barbie film, and I stand by it. That is
Yeah, and you've influenced Kaitlin now.
On YouTube going, that's why Greta go with the Barbie film.
Yeah. I mean, I'd heard there's loads of hype around it and everyone was saying like it was so brilliant. And I was like, okay, we'll see if it was. And I agree. I think it's brilliant.
Good.
So you said similar vibes.
Yeah, not like obviously it's
Yes.
not about Barbie, but in terms of the themes it explores, and Nancy's writing is like incredible, and Morgan like brings it to life in such a great way, and the whole team is so collaborative. Like we'll be rehearsing it, and there's no like hierarchy of like this stuff. Like we just all collaborate really well, and everyone's like input and stuff. It's yeah,
Cool.
it's going really well.
What future things do you have planned? You mentioned about your love for physical theatre. Did you say something about men's mental health?
Yes.
Yeah. So what are those plans?
Well, I've got a few of my friends who are on the music course at Brit, who kind of jokingly said to me, kind of like, oh, if you ever do anything featuring your music. And now I'm kind of in the process of brainstorming a few things. So I'm kind of reaching out to them. There's just a few theatre pieces I've seen, and that's just something I'd really love to explore directing. I've like done a few physical theatre things being in. But yeah, I think that could be really cool to develop. We're also developing a few ideas for our next chapter project, which Kaitlin may be involved in.
Oh, that's exciting.
Maybe a musical, maybe a comedic thing about
Comedy?
upper class men. Yes, we're doing
I
a...
didn't know about this.
Okay.
Oh, Abby was under the impression Kaitlin knew.
Well,
Anyway.
clearly not. Well, there you go, Kaitlin. That's so exciting. Good for you, Kaitlin.
Well, men's mental health. I'll let you know, Josh.
Yeah.
if-
Well, the only thing is, like, I love physical theatre. And actually, if you needed, what is it today with you thinking I'm going to say something like really weird and outrageous, and it's just like, why would I? It's true. Yeah, no,
Mental
well,
health's
I like
important.
I do like the subject of men's mental health. I think it's one that should be discussed. I've done a whole podcast episode about
Yeah.
it. The thing I was going to say is, if you wanted a guest choreographer to come in and just like work a few things out, try a little few.
Absolutely.
If you ever had a cast for that, I feel like Ash should be in the cast.
Potentially.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
I think that would be fun. I love like
Ash is a very talented performer.
yeah. Well, I love like putting Ash in like lots of different positions. Wait 1 second. Let me. No, that's good. That's right. I mean, like as a choreographer, be like, I just feel like he'd be really good to work with. And like I could like try out loads of different like choreographic techniques with him.
Yeah. You've met Ash.
I met Ash once. Damn. But no, like, yeah, I know. I would love to as like someone who wants to explore the creative side. I just think it could be. Whoa.
Oh, sorry, did I take it?
No, I'm just like, I'm worrying myself here. But yeah, do you know what I mean?
I'll let you know what that's one thing that I think when me and Nancy first started like talking about chapters, we were like, we want to work with a bunch because we released the teaser and we got a lot of people going, can we be involved? Can we join? And we were like, the second we kind of branch it out to like everyone joining it becomes like quite complicated and it's like hard to manage. So, but doing things in the future, like collaborating, we're really. Like,
well, yeah, I think there's the whole thing about like having a guest, someone to do this for that thing, not like they come and be your choreographer, they come and be your music director. It's like you've got your core. You don't necessarily need to. You can expand 1-2 people if you'd like to, I guess, in the future. But it's like just bringing people in to help with a certain thing. It's like, what is the phrase about like too many cooks spoil the brothel? I don't know, whatever it is. But it's just like if you have so many people kind of come in and like adding their input. And obviously you're at drama school, like you announced that you're doing like a student-led theatre thing, and everyone's like, that's exciting. Like I'd love to do something like that. I just haven't, or like I'm not. And so it's quite impressive that like you've actually like started it and like you've got a booking. Yeah,
we didn't expect to do something so quick.
Yeah, you've done a lot quickly.
Yeah, which we're happy about because me and Nancy's like original aim was like we want to do some like low-key stuff, even if we put it on like at the student bar, like a monologue night or something, so that when we finish third year we've got this like catalogue of things we've done, and then things kind of took off really quickly with this, which is great. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm so excited and interested in like tracking what you do with it. I think things like projects. I just think like projects that people aren't doing, or things that aren't like super, not necessarily common, but I guess so. Things that are different, that stand out. I'm always just like, because that's what I like doing. It's why I'm doing this. It's just like, I find it exciting. Because there are loads of different drama schools, and I'm sure there are like some people here and there will like do theatre things. But to be honest, like there aren't many. So I'll love to see what you do in the future. And if something exciting happens, maybe you can come on for another episode, or maybe if I can expand my set and get more microphones, we can have the whole team
Yes.
come
and
on
Ash.
and Ash, just to come and like talk. Depending on what you've done, you might be the next creators of Six. I swear they were like students, and there was just like a fringe, and just, you know. 'Cause here's the thing: like, if you just keep making shows, keep making things you're passionate about, one of them might like just suddenly just enter a festival and like win an award, and like it goes off from there. You know, it's like it's a slow grind until one thing does well.
Yeah.
It's the same with doing like videos. It's like a slow grind, episodes here and there, and then one of them just needs to
Go off.
Yeah, and it's the same for like creating shows. Yeah, I just think being creative is fun.
Yeah, because even if it reaches and impacts like one person,
that's
like, and that's something I love like about applied theatre is like some of like the most incredible like shows I've seen have been like in a tiny theatre. The ticket's been like £3, and I'm like, how is this not mainstream? Like everyone needs to see this. So even if we make like loads of shows like that impact like a few people, yeah,
I totally think that's the right mindset. Because it's always fun to think about like in 5 years' time, imagine if we keep doing this and what it could be. But to get to doing something like that for however many months or years, whatever, you've got to have like a good reason just to keep doing each week without it just being like, oh, I want to make £1 million.
Yeah.
like, you know, some people was like they're kind of they do things purely for that like end goal where they're like, no, they're successful. But if you can find a way of just doing it each week or keep doing it each week, keep putting ideas into each week purely because of, for example, wanting to impact just one person, make one person go, oh wow, I think that's just a great recipe for success.
Yeah.
Because then you can just keep creating.
Yeah, and build off of it. Like this explores like womanhood, sexual assault, grief. I've spoken to like Nancy and Lottie about like branching out to doing like some workshops around schools or with like young women, like based on the show, but using that like as a stimulus for workshops. So just things that also really interest us as like having our show, that's great, and then like, okay, now what can we do? Like this is done well, how else can we like help people or give them like access to the arts and things?
I'm always hearing Kaitlin talk about that, being like, I don't know, working with schools, talking about workshops. I mean, if you ever need a performer, well, great one right here. Oh yeah, you already booked in blessed. That's I'm intrigued how you didn't know that and how you were certain she knew that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a good conversation a lot, but we also yap a lot. So we yap quite a lot.
Well, that's exciting for whatever that might be.
It isn't written yet, but
yeah, nice. Do you have any ideas kind of going forward with it after you've done this? Like you've talked about kind of going into schools, but do you have you've mentioned about like your small goals of things that will keep you going for each show, but do you have any of those kind of big goals that you're just like, oh, that'll be cool to do that? Like this is a venue I might like to do something at. Yeah,
I think doing a show that can potentially tour, like even in small different theatres, just I'm really passionate about giving access to the arts to either like non-conventional theatre like spaces and things, and people watching them there and kind of bringing art to those spaces really gets me fueled. So potentially doing something like that would be really cool. Like
I've got a recommendation for you. Let me set up. I slide down this chair. And it's about including more into like the social media side of things. Because some successful things I see online are like recorded snippets, funny moments or whatever of whatever show, and it doesn't have to not necessarily like a massive like theatre venue, but we were talking about Shoot from the Hip with Sofia, and like all their videos are just like moments of these shows that they put on at whatever kind of local places, and it's just like clippets. And I don't know if you need to film it on a phone or if it has to be on like a camera or whatever, but I think it'll be great, whatever the topic. And you got yes,
and I've got the big camera.
Yeah, well there you go. I think you should definitely record like maybe like 2-3 moments from the show that you know like could do well, and then like put it into like reel format or TikTok format or whatever, and post those on your page. Because like with Shoot from the Hip, like I've heard of them from social media. Sofia had heard of them from social media, and then she went and like saw something of theirs, and like I want to go and see something of theirs, you know, purely because of like things they've put out that have impacted me on an online like sense. And so I feel like if you're talking about like wanting to impact people, obviously in person, the biggest impact you can have on someone, but even someone seeing some of your work online, that could be enough to like impact them, and they go, oh, that's really cool, and then like want to go see it in person. So I definitely recommend you should definitely do like short form content.
Yeah, we're in the form of, on that shoot day we got a load of B-roll from
That's good.
Morgan and Ash, whose hand makes a feature because we needed like
Lovely.
a masculine presence but without a face. And we've done a few interview bits with us. So
Okay, nice.
my main thing is I like on the social media, I want people to know like about us and not to
who
think
you
we're
are.
like prestigious, like, yeah, we want to put out that, like, no, we're just students and like we like making theatre, it's impactful.
Yeah.
So yeah, posting, I want to get that out
That's cool.
soon because our first teaser trailer did a lot better views wise. We think we got on like a really good stream of, we were like, wow, we do not know this many people, these are not just our friends.
Yeah.
So kind of putting more stuff like that out.
Yeah, totally. I think social media is such an interesting topic. It's so good and bad at the same time. It's so positive and negative at the same time. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't have TikTok anymore. Kaitlin kind of runs all of that for me because everyone we're talking. Pardon? Oh, Matt, you know what? I never ask people to like subscribe or like until like the very end of the video. Yeah, so we've actually recently bought these tiny mics for the TikTok. So you should go follow our socials, see like little clips of these episodes. Maybe if you don't make it to the whole length of an episode, or if you see one in the future and you go, don't have time to watch that now, but there might be some clips for you to have a look at. Clips do crazy, like, well. I think anything, like, if you put in content out, always like create shorts. Even if it's just like a 10-second clip of like someone says something that's funny or like that's deep or meaningful. Generally I think people prefer funny. Yeah. What social media at the moment, like what you get recommended? What's your like current like algorithm? This is off topic, but like
on my one.
Yeah, yours.
One.
Such a good question.
Such a good question. I get, there's an account, I can't remember what it's called, but Kaitlin, I send Kaitlin their memes about like 15 times a day, and they normally revolve around the words yap.
Okay.
What are the other ones? Yap, womp. Sorry, Lottie. And they're memes that aren't funny, but that's one of the first things like me and Ash bonded over is like, it will be a picture of like a cat and it's like, hey, my bread looks weird. Like,
I don't understand that in the slightest. Yeah.
Look. So this is some of the memes that I send.
I don't really have any like any words for that really.
Yeah.
But look, if that's like your thing, if that's what you like, then fair enough.
Like,
I don't get it, man.
They're things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Because
but you like that.
Yeah. Like, again, that's one of the first things that like me and Ash bonded over.
I can imagine Ash, like, they're just seeing something, like, being like, huh, I don't get it.
Yeah, or this is the... This is what I sent to Kaitlin recently.
Oh, I don't like that. I've just started. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sharing that.
No, I wouldn't recommend you share it. No.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Oh man, that is
exactly, but that's why like stuff like that
that's
is so
uncomfortable.
grim. Like me and Lottie's favourite thing.
I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Me and Lottie's favourite thing is to do things that are cringe, like dabbing, because like they're cringe. You're not actually doing it to be like, wow,
Right.
so cool.
Yeah, you're
like,
doing it
being,
ironically.
Being ironically funny.
Sure. Yeah.
Is like hilarious.
They sent me a video of them doing cringe to make me feel bad.
Yeah, we did a try not to cringe challenge for Kaitlin, and look, she's better now. So actually, I think it cured her.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Keep doing that in the future.
Yeah, that's Chapter's next project.
Is it?
Actually, it's
Is
just
it?
me and Lottie on stage, dressed as Anton and Seb, doing a try not to cringe challenge.
Oh yeah, we'll get onto that in a second. My algorithm, it's so strange. It's giving me like cartel Instagram stuff.
Cartel.
So yeah, it's just like videos of like planes flying low and then like mysterious packages dropping from them and then men with like guns rushing and getting him and like running away. And I'm just like, why is this
This
being
is so Ken
firstly,
coded.
why am I getting this? Like seriously, I've never engaged in anything like that before. And then just like videos of like men flexing weapons.
Mojo
And
Dojo
stuff.
Casa House.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is like, has it realised I've watched Barbie recently and it's gone, oh man, watch Barbie probably like wants things like this because it needs masculine. Yeah, it's so strange. I'm just like randomly on Cartelgram, which is what everyone's calling it in the comments because they're all the same as me.
Cartelgram.
They're all like, why am I here? It's weird. And they're all men as well. Just being like, why am I here?
Surprise.
I don't know. The algorithms go weird
I
recently.
can guarantee you, go deep enough in them, you'll find Ash
But, like-
somewhere in the comments, probably.
Just find him like, it comes up when people like have liked posts. I'll just keep checking if he's like been liking them, or I can start sending them to him,
Yes.
and he'll start getting them.
Yes, do that.
Start getting Cartel. He sent me a meme the other day, and I was like, wow, we're on this stage.
Same wavelength. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is sweet. This is cute.
Yeah.
I like that. We should probably move on.
Yes.
I don't really know what to. We've talked about chapter. Oh yeah. So
Kaitlin wants to talk about Anton and Seb.
yeah, you really want to talk about Anton and Seb. Who are Anton and Seb as people? Like who are they?
So Anton and Seb were brothers who
Yeah.
did an X Factor audition in like early X Factor. Like you watch the footage and it's just grainy.
Okay.
And
I
they're
don't think I actually know.
You do.
you do. They're the ones that go whoa, Mister. Come on,
Oh.
move your body. Like they're really bad.
Okay, no, I
Yeah.
recognise the come on, you
And
buddy.
there's
come
loads of
on,
memes
you-
about like when you have to bring your brother out.
Yeah,
when your
yeah,
mum
yeah.
says you can't go
Okay.
unless you bring your brother.
I
like
remember
them.
it from the not the backing singer. He just like he adds in.
He
Little,
just
like,
kind of stands there like, yeah, come on, yeah. I was him. Lottie was the main one.
And so
Lottie
why
was
have you
Anton.
chosen to do that? Like, what is this for?
Because again, me and Lottie have the most broken sense of humor.
Mm.
So we watched them and we were trying to figure out a Halloween costume. We're like, oh my gosh, let's be them. So we printed off like the X Factor numbers and we went to the charity shops and we got like the full outfit. And we initially did it as a joke, and then we fully dressed up as men, like mimicked their like facial hair, pinned our hair to make it look shorter, and then turned up to the student bar at first, and everyone we spoke to was like, oh my god, you're them. So we performed the routine. We learned it and performed the routine all night. We then went to another Halloween party and everyone knew who we were. And then when we told people we were doing it at Queer Cab, they were like, yes.
Yeah.
So-
So I think I will come to that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What is Queer Cab?
Queer Cab is something Central does at the end of each term. It's a queer cabaret. So there's poetry, there's some burlesque sometimes, there's some
What is burlesque?
dancing. Glamorized stripping? Romanticized?
Whilst removing clothes.
Dancing whilst removing clothes, but like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt that's the only way of putting it. Like, that's what it is.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah,
I
do
should come
that.
to Central. I should do that.
yeah,
And make sure everyone knows me. Like, now come watch my podcast.
yeah, exactly. Just tattoo on your chest movement theories.
I should do
And
that.
then
Yeah.
when you take your clothes off, you're like,
We'll get some time to design it.
That would be amazing. I
yeah.
would love that.
on camera.
He's
Yeah.
very sweet.
Yeah.
Um.
Sometime.
So yeah, you're going to perform at Queer Cab, which
Mhm.
is at the end of this next term.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so jealous about like just the structure of education at Central, just like the terms and like all the timing, and because like the fact that you're in only 3 days a week like gives you at the moment,
At the
it
moment,
picks
yeah.
up to like
It's going to go
7.
more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
all
it-
the time.
if you had to think about like quote, say if I'm right or not, like a graph. I love a good graph. You start here and it's just like this is like time, and then this is just like not necessarily difficulty, but like intensity.
Mm.
But like it starts here and it's like a slow build and then just goes straight up.
Yeah.
Is the impression that I get. But it means now at the beginning you have the time to do theatre stuff. Like
yeah, fun
this
things.
company. Yeah, it
Yeah,
gives
we
you the
wouldn't have been
time.
able to do that if
Mhm.
it was completely 9 to 5.
Yeah.
which is
So I guess
nice.
that is good. That you have that opportunity, and then it's finding a way to be able to continue that when you are in every day,
Yeah.
weekends as well. You know, kind
Yeah.
of doing all sorts of crazy things.
Yes.
Right, I think we've got to the point of the episode where now we can just talk about anything.
Yippee.
This is the part where we can literally waffle on. There's no pressure unless like you've got a topic that you think I'd like to share this.
Not particularly.
otherwise, it's just about strong opinions you might have on things that you'd like to share. Whether that's the way you think the industry is currently going. I don't know, all sorts of things. Funding, Arts Council, like I don't know,
Wow, all
whatever you
those.
like. Really up to you, Andrew Lloyd Webber. What your thoughts were on Cats the musical? Yeah, you said you wouldn't.
Sorry.
Yeah, what do you think about like the industry just as a whole in terms of like opportunities for young people?
I think it's a lot. I mean, it's hard because I'd say like I think it's getting like a lot better, and social media means that like even if you're not necessarily doing anything like staging and you want to be, you can create your own thing from home for a lot of people. It's got better in that sense, but at the same time that makes it more hard because loads of people are trying to do that. But I know that like the RSC and the National have released a bunch of new schemes of working with young people, in particular of like schools where they have like free school meals and things, and like getting them into like theatre and the arts, which is really great. But again, I feel quite privileged because of Brit. For the past 2 years in my head, I'm like, oh, it's great, and like everyone's really into it, but I do have to like acknowledge that I've been in that environment for 2 years. So I know that's not quite the same, but I think it's going really well, and seeing some really cool shows that like pay what you can.
Yeah.
Really good.
Things like that is
some
cool.
really cool new shows coming out.
I think it's great that loads of people are being encouraged now to take part in theatre in like all kind of levels. What it does mean though is that the numbers of people trying to attend drama schools and all of these are just going to increase. I guess the little problem is currently our government don't think drama school courses are real, and we should all do maths until we're 18 years old, which I'm past that. So like, but for people younger than me, you know, that is rough.
It's just
and also it means that everything becomes a lot more competitive because there's just so many people. I mean, you must have like a couple thousand people graduate each year, and then from performing arts kind of courses around the country, and then like they're all then going for jobs, and then it's like, but are there that many jobs? No. Are there jobs, you know, in the hundreds? Probably not. It's probably like, if you want like, you know, like livable wage, it's probably under 100.
Oh yeah.
Each year that are there, and you've got like 2,000 graduates plus people graduated the year before and the year before, and it's just like, man, it's
crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of the big jobs will just go to people who are already established, which isn't a problem because, you know, you can understand that. But it doesn't mean it is just stressful, and it's like, I think we like to talk about the fact that it's going to be very hard. And it's going to be a lot. I think also the fact that all like the people who lead the industry, all of like you could call them kind of rich white men, because it kind of tends to be what they are generally. I guess we're going to see a new wave soon, circle of life, of the new people who will be leading, and I'll be interested to see how that potentially might impact what the industry looks like in 10, 20 years time, which will be like when we're like not in our peak, we'll be past our peak. We're currently in our peak, I'd say.
We're in our downfall.
But you know, we'll be like very much like potentially like settled in. There'll be this new, because I mean, it's sad to say, but if you're 70 years old now and you're creating shows, which there are people like that, or 60, whatever, well, like you're going to be like, what, 90, 80, 90? Like you can't still be doing the same thing. So it's just circle of life. You're going to get new people in. It'll be interesting to see like how that changes. How do you think it might change?
I don't know. I think I don't know, because I think it is so different, because that's another reason I love applied theatre is people go in. I know Sylvan, one of our lecturers, works on something called the verbatim formula.
Oh, nice. I love verbatim.
Yeah, and it works with people who've been in like the care system, and they work and take testimonies from all different like age groups, people quite young, I believe. So a lot of work actually being created is stemming from really young people, but at the same time there's applied theatre projects where people are going into like care homes and using stories of people who are older to like inspire new work. So I think that's something I love, is if I watch a show, I love finding out the context of it, because it might be like on like surface level like a really cool show about this, but then you're like, oh, this is actually inspired by someone's necklace their great granddad gave to them. They're like, it's all linked.
Yeah.
So I think this circle is probably going to be more of a, have you watched The Good Place?
I have.
You know, Jeremy Bearimy, when they talk about the like timeline, it's Jeremy Bearimy. That's what I think it's like. It's literally like all intertwined.
Yeah. I guess like the we will be in a new era soon though. We won't have the Lloyd Webbers and the Mackintoshes and stuff, and
how exciting.
Might get some women, you know, potentially. Might get some women
Hopefully.
up there in those kind of high places. Might be you guys. Who knows?
Shout out.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I feel like it will be like spaghetti, of course. But you know, as we start to see like the new faces, new genders, new races in these big positions, I don't know what it would be, but it'll be I'm so interested to see like what the impact, like these new big shows. I've recently there's been quite a few good ones recently. Musicals as well, like shows that have just like been like, we were doing I do history performing arts, part of Bird, and we're like looking at a timeline. It was like looking right at the beginning, where everything came from, and then it like stemmed all up until recent. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize like that was so recent. I didn't realize West Side Story was so far back. So I thought it was more. I think because like the new film came out, and I was like, oh, like this is a new musical. It wasn't a new musical, man. I'm so uneducated. I was like, I sat my lecture and like, oh, did it? Oh, that's
Not good.
yeah. I find it so interesting though, seeing like so much of like performance and like theatre and musicals come from Black culture, and like you just don't realise that. Yeah, like jazz, a lot of jazz, just jazz, dance, and then I think one of the first. Oh man, the name is in my head, but one of the first like singing, dancing, and acting, which is a musical, but back then it was just like a collaboration. Was I think it was just white people being made fun of, like it was that kind of like they were like. Being made, black people making fun of, or like singing about white people to white people, and it was like the first, like they put it all together, is what the show was like. But what was interesting was that, you know, the audience would be like, oh yeah, this is so good, and like not understand like actually what the lyrics were saying about them. And then like it was interesting seeing all the shows that then stemmed. I mean, do correct me. Avenue Q, is that for puppets?
Yeah.
Have I watched that? Did we watch that?
I've watched it.
Yeah, can't remember if I have.
My dad was backstage, and if you know anything about Avenue Q, that was really mortifying. It wasn't
Yeah.
but just knowing that my dad was knowing that I was watching this show,
Yeah.
that was too much.
I mean, look, people listening, like, do correct me if I'm wrong on one of these things. It was a lot of information that I've been given in the last like couple of days. But it seemed like it was something like that, and there hasn't been like that recognition. So yeah, that was, I don't know where we kind of got to that from.
Like representation.
Different types of shows. Yeah. What are some good recent ones that you've watched?
Big
Yeah,
Thing was
that's
great.
recent, isn't it? That's about
incredible. Henry Fraser.
yes. But I haven't seen it. No, but I've been told a lot about it. Yeah, isn't it about like
Henry Fraser. It's his life.
No.
do you
I'm
want us
trying
to
to test myself. Also trying to find the right words as well. Because it's about a wheelchair user.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to work out.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the word disability, because
Yeah.
people changed it recently.
Well, he was able-bodied
Mm.
and then got in an accident and then became a
Wheelchair user.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just heard. I mean, I'm learning so many new things. No, it's fine. It's all right. That there's like a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Well, there's an incredible speech in Little Big Things
Yeah.
that the nurse or the what's she called, physiotherapist,
Yeah.
does, and she's a wheelchair user, and she does this whole monologue about like being disabled and what it means to be disabled. And she says, I wouldn't class myself as disabled. I'm disabled because of the lack of like access arrangement the government's given me. Every time they vote against the new ramp, I become more disabled. That's when I get put in that like box as opposed to a wheelchair user. That's when they become, and that's like that show had it's so applied theatre.
Yeah, we will go
incredible.
soon. You know, you've been trying to make me watch the Barbie film for a while. You've been trying to, so we'll do little bit of
they
things.
use like sign as well. That's something that I'm really passionate about like bringing to my work. Like
you
BSL
are on
and
sign.
That they started like singing with dance, and I recognised a few of the signs, and I was like, and I turned to Lottie and Nancy, and I was like, they're using sign, they're using like, and it just
I went to a
that's
sign
so incredible.
performance, and so you could see it all translate to the choreography, which is
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, again, that is it's so new and like kind of modern, and it's exploring and using different art forms and different styles and topics that you don't or didn't get. So it's a good impression of like where shows are gonna go.
Yeah, and it's again that whole thing of like, it's not romanticizing it. It's not super. It just normalizes it. Like they don't make a thing of going, we're using sign language in this dance. Like they just do it. Like they just, without making a big thing, because like for a lot of people, like that's just their life. That's their.
There's that character and the actress that plays her only has one arm, but that's never acknowledged.
Yeah, she went to Brit. Shout out. Should. I looked in the program and I was like, shout out.
Yeah, I always do that. I'm always just like, where has this person gone? Any bird students here or there?
Yeah.
You get a couple. It's quite nice actually. It's like when you see it, it's like,
when we
That's
went,
hopefully.
we the night we went, we had our Central lanyards on because we got it like through Central. We got like cheaper tickets, so
Nice.
we just brought them as like ID. And right opposite us, because it's in the round, opposite us was like 20 Mount View students, and because I think some of the cast were from Mount View.
Same Brit Galliers.
Yeah, and and we were watching it, and we were like, I spot, because a few of my friends from like Brit went to Mount View, and I saw the lanyards, and I was like, And then as we were walking out, it was really odd because there's a lot of mixes between drama schools, and there isn't this like competition, but at the same time there kind of is. Like we were walking out, and we heard a few people go, they're from Central. And we had our lanyards, and like Nancy jokingly like put her lanyard on and like made a thing out of it. And like, but there was this kind of awkwardness where I was like, oh, it was kind of awkward, because I wanted to be like, oh, you go to Mount View, that's great. But there was this weird like thing about it, which I'm like, we're all doing the same thing, just at different places. Like,
but like they're both Mount View and Central are both both really like prestigious, recognizable. Like I wouldn't know where to, if someone was to do like a ranking, I wouldn't. They're just like, they're all kind of in that art seds. Yeah, like, I wouldn't be, like, say I was at Mount View. Let's say hypothetically, I saw someone at Central. I wouldn't be like, oh, like they're at Central. Flip side, if I was at Central, I wouldn't be like, oh, they're at Mount View. So, it's a drama school.
It was odd though. Yeah.
Yeah, but I see where it would be. I think the alternate, like the one that I could relate to is like Bird and Erdang. I'm always kind of hearing, you know, what Bird's doing, what Erdang's doing. And when you see the stuff that Erdang doing, like Bird go back to the basics of everything. They're like trying to build you up, make sure that everyone like is actually doing things right and safely, and they'll start. And then like second year, like you really kind of go ham. I saw some of the Erdang things is like they're just all doing like flips.
A few of my friends go
stuff.
to Erdang, and they'll just post on their private story, and they're like, I've shown you a few of them, some of my mates, and they're like average like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I know.
Like, it's incredible.
Mental. So yeah, it's interesting like how different drama schools with similar courses can do such different stuff. You know, I found Erdang to be very jazzy, like very just like wow. Went to Burren, and it seemed a bit more kind of like contemporary. One of the Bird audition like pieces was a contemporary. I don't know. I thought it was more my vibe. I hadn't done jazz before auditioning for drama school, so doing this class in the Erdang audition was like, I don't know what I'm doing. My Central one was good. I did like Central. Yeah. But it wasn't the right place for me. Yeah. Because I also didn't get it. But like, you know, I don't think it would have been, even if I did.
Yeah. But that's what's so cool. Like, I love talking to different people that go to different places, because you'll like on paper do the same thing, but
Yeah.
they do it in such different ways. But then it means
Yeah,
that like if
totally.
you collaborate on something, that's so sick because you've got like just so many different like
Yeah.
perspectives. It's just so like or even people that like don't go to drama school, because I really like very privileged to be at drama school and things, and especially Central has loads of like scholarships and bursaries, and I was very lucky. Like that was something that I didn't know if I'd be able to do without like that scholarship. But like a lot of drama schools are now getting better at trying to like break down that barrier. But also you see loads of work in like people who don't go to drama school, or people that are disheartened because they don't get in. And I'm like, you're an incredible like artist and like creative and things, and like that whole like idea, and it just sucks that I hope we get to a point in the future that won't be a barrier. Like if someone's looking at someone's professional CV, them going to drama school won't be a complete like deterrent. Because there are loads of creatives that don't get in, and I'm like, you're so good, don't like let that stop you.
Yeah, and sometimes like people do need to apply several times. Like some people, one of the ambassadors at Central on my audition was like, oh, it took me 5 attempts to get in, but here I am now doing acting in my 3rd year, and it's like sometimes it is that bit of a grind. You never really know what people are looking for either. And also I'm sure it probably is possible to be a bit overqualified, like to audition and then to be like, we've got nothing to teach you. You know. And so I guess in that sense, like just because you don't get into drama school doesn't mean you shouldn't then just try for the industry. Like you shouldn't be like, oh, I can't do it, because maybe you can do it really well. Because sometimes they want to be able to say they taught you.
Like there's no point in you going there for 3 years and just being like twiddling your thumbs and like just kind of no, like they want to teach you, they want to like teach you how to grow. Like if you're already an established artist, that's great, go start working, like cool, get a jump start.
I guess a lot of people maybe like are really strong, for example Bird, you know, really strong dancers, and then have come like to now train in acting and singing for the next couple of years. Or on the flip side, when my mate like is an actor, like got into Mount View, was like, no, I want to get better at dancing, and like is here, the acting's fine for him, singing's fine for him, but now he's kind of learning to dance, which means you are with a whole mix of people. And so sometimes it is really interesting at being like, it is a dance college, and you've got some people there who are general triple threats, can do everything. Some people who really good dancers, haven't done as much singing or acting, and then you're in dance class with someone who hasn't really danced before, but like could be on stage right now acting and singing, but just chose to come here to have more pies to put their fingers in. Is there an expression?
It's a good way to put it.
It's an expression that I love. But fingers and pies, and I've just
that's so
made it my
exciting
own.
though.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about? I can't remember what we were talking about beforehand. We took a little bit of a break just to let you all know. So I'm not really sure what we were just saying 2 seconds ago. Do you remember?
No.
Different musicals, new musicals, things like that.
Little things. I can't remember.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say? Any words of wisdom, wise words?
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Tell people that they're casted.
They're what?
Tell people if they've been booked and blessed.
You've been booked and blessed. No, one thing that I'm like, I was talking today in my contemporary studies that like I get very passionate about 2 things. Nature is important.
Yes,
look after it, but also being passionate. I've had this conversation with loads of people recently, coming into the drama school things and like getting in, not getting in. Genuinely, like having moments of like appreciating the people around you, but like going for it. I think people will have like a goal and that's great, but they won't realise the like loads of goals they've achieved along the way. Like if someone's like, I want to be a West End actor, for example, and they've booked like loads of different small shows, but their goal is like, oh, but I haven't done the West End. Having that like moment of being like, okay, but what have I done? Like the whole thing of like appreciating that you've made a coffee in the morning, small things like that. That so couldn't have happened today. That's so like, it's good to like check in and be like, no, I've done this. What I'm doing is really cool. Because also that whole moment of like a lot of things people have done, they're very privileged to have done. Like I always have check in. I'm like, I feel very privileged to have done this.
Totally.
And yeah, like it's important to. But yeah,
it's good to have someone to remind you of that, because I struggle being like, oh, I've done this, I've done that, look where I am. My head is always like, what's next, could I do more, and it's quite nice to be brought back down to earth sometimes.
Imagine sitting down with little Josh
and
being like,
don't get me started,
and being like, you've done this, and how like gassed it'd be that you've done all these things.
What did and then maybe you can answer this as well. So I'm having to think like, what would little Josh think? What would little Abby think?
What would little Josh think of?
No. Sorry, this is me. This is for me. But then, what would little Abby think about like where you are now? And I'm gonna have a little think about like, what would little Josh think about where I am? Because I don't know. I think he's just impressed that I've made a choice. Like that I'm like, I know what I'm doing now. Because I think when I was doing gymnastics, I was like, well, this is because I spent all my life what I did. And I was like, this isn't gonna like lead on to anything apart from being a gym coach. I don't want to do that. So I think the fact that I've actually found something to do, he's probably impressed by that. Yeah. What about yourself?
I think the people that are in my life currently, in terms of my friends, I'm incredibly least cringe way, but I will also tell them very regularly. I'm very grateful for everyone in my life.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have happened that like I genuinely am a firm believer in like everything happens for a reason. So I think if I sat down with Abby, and even if I was, let alone any of the creative stuff that would make my heart like so immensely happy and do on the regular make my heart very immensely happy.
Yeah.
Just being like, you have these really cool friends. They do this. You get to like brag about your friends and be like, my friend's doing this right now, because like seeing them be passionate, seeing people passionate about something is my favorite thing. And seeing my friends do well and just being able to be in this environment where I can like be myself and just see people like succeeding in their own like small little ways. I think I'd just be so like happy to like have that stability and be like, cool, you're doing good.
I love how my answer was that I've decided on what I'm going to do with my life, and then yours was like, it's just was just it was like, wow, but that's good. Yeah, that's really good.
You get to be a rock.
And then you get to be a rock.
You get to be a rock. I'm such a good rock.
Your course is I think it's wild. It's the fact that I'm in for these like long hours of each day, and I'm like, oh, Kaitlin, man, I'm just tired. I'm sweaty. I'm hungry. I didn't get a break, and she was like, I was some seaweed.
You were the best seaweed.
And I was like,
and you did such a good job.
Why is this actually a true story? Why have I just not made that up?
Yeah.
Why is that real?
I was a chameleon the other day. You weren't in for that. You weren't in for that. I was climbing against the new studio window and I was a chameleon, and Nancy was a penguin, and she went, why is it so cold, man? It was really great. I felt that's Chapter's new thing. Nancy the writer.
Well, I'm just glad that you guys are having fun.
Yes.
That you're enjoying your course. Yeah, it is quite a long degree name, isn't it? But it's because you just do so much.
Real. It's nothing we can't do.
Yeah. No, not about what I'm about to say. Actually, no, I don't even. I was just going to say about in the fact that you only do 3 days a week, and yet you've got this whole long course. A way to ruin it. But no, is it like you like I said, the graph?
Yeah.
And when you get there, it's going to be like, oh man, I wish I was back down here, but you're up there now.
Yeah.
And then you'll be the one. Yeah. Well, maybe like just do more now, and then like mentally you'll be there.
Just do more, Kaitlin.
No, I'm joking. I mean, look, it's the fact that you get the opportunities to do like Chapter, and you get to help with the podcast, and like it's good that you got the time. And you're booked and blessed. Yeah. I mean, after this recording, I'd like to hear more about this role, and like.
Kaitlin probably.
I feel like you would. So yeah, we can have a little like we could just talk about what it is. I feel like it's a good place to wrap up now.
Yeah.
Mate, I don't know why these podcasts go on for so long. I just get so tired, man.
I apologise.
No, it's all right. The conversations are just so good, and they just keep going. I'm always in my mind. It's like just could be an hour long. I actually have no idea how long this is. It's just the fact that we've had so many like off-topic chats
also had
behind
loads
camera.
Of breaks as well.
Yeah. And we've just been chatting.
It's
off
Ash is the
camera.
cause of that.
Yes, yeah. I'm blame it on him.
Yeah.
He's got some making up to do.
Okay.
Well, on that note, this has been the Movement Theories podcast. We hope you've enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all of that. Whatnot. And my name is Josh Cambridge. This is
Abby Doon.
And I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.